guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm starting a new series for 2022 and this is my top movies of the month. Now I have a list here of my 10 films that I saw in the month. This is just going to be my new movies. I'm not going to do anything like the retro reviews or revisited. These are just new movies from this year. Mainly want to do this to obviously track it each month, but also it's just going to be really easy when I get to the end of 2022 and I do my top movies of the year. Because last year, to do those videos of the best and worst, took me ages to find all the numbers. This month also is a bit weird. I have done 10 movies this month, which is just crazy. I've got the benefit of my unlimited card. But it's because in January I had COVID, so I couldn't go to the cinema obviously as much, and I missed a lot of the films. So this is kind of January and February, because there's 3 movies on this list that actually did come out in January. Munich, Edge of War, which was a streaming one, Belfast, as well as Sing 2. Starting though from the worst to best, and number 10 was Uncharted. I gave Uncharted a 3 out of 10. Wasn't for me. It was what I expected it to be, don't get me wrong. Really loose, really a bad script. I thought Tom Holland was just not very good. I think he's amazing as Spider-Man, don't get me wrong, but I feel like every film that Tom Holland's done, other than Spider-Man, I have not enjoyed. Cherry, didn't like it at all. I don't know, even, what's the other one? Chaos Walking. He just hasn't done good films other than Spider-Man, and for me, Uncharted is no exception. I think he is a really overrated actor. And yeah, it's a shame because he's really good in Spider-Man, but I just think this story was just way off. I just didn't enjoy it at all. It was too family friendly. I wanted something a bit more darker, a bit more grittier, and yeah, it just wasn't. At number 9 then was Moonfall. I gave that a 5.5 out of 10. I enjoyed Moonfall. It was okay, pretty average. Hannah enjoyed it much more than me. It was alright though. It was a sci-fi movie with a little bit of fantasy elements in it. I'd recommend people go and check it out. But if you can't see her in the cinema, then you can kind of catch up and watch that on like a streaming thing and you wouldn't be too disappointed. Would I pick up Moonfall? I probably wouldn't pick it up on day one. It's not really like that level for me. But, you know, I think down the road, maybe on a 2 for 30 or a 3 for 30, I may pick it up. I am a big space fan and, you know, in a few years, maybe I'll rewatch it again type of thing. Number 8 then, I gave a 6.5 to Death on the Nile. This was a real shame for me. I hoped this would be a little bit better. I prefer Murder on the Orient Express. This is the movie that is directed by Kenneth Branagh and also starring Kenneth Branagh as well as Gal Gadot. And it's another Agatha Christie novel, I guess, that's been adapted into a movie. And I'm really, you know, I was really looking forward to it. It just didn't grab me as much. I think it was okay. The cast was really good. There were some surprising members in there. Dawn French and Russell Brand were really good. And, you know, it was okay. Would you miss out if you didn't see it? No. Would it be a day one pickup for me? Probably not day one, but I definitely will want to pick it up just to have it go next to Murder on the Orient Express. But as I say, I preferred that one over that. In number 7, I also gave a 6.5 out of 10, but I did enjoy this a little bit more, and that is Sing 2. This is an animated movie starring Matthew McConaughey as well as Scarlett Johansson, as well as Bono and Halsey making appearances. And this is about, obviously, the animals. You know, they're trying to like create this like show and put on this production. And this is the sequel to the first one. They decided to go off to like the Las Vegas equivalent to try and make it big and put on this really big show. And to be honest, I really enjoyed it. It was a fun, easygoing movie. But for me, I just think I kind of preferred the first one a little bit more. The first one had a bit more thing to it. You know, the songs were, I think, better in the first one. But the second one was just okay. It's a family movie. It doesn't have the emotional pull that things like the Pixar movies do. But it's one of those, you know, feel-good films. It's actually the first film I saw of this year. And it was a packed cinema. So yeah, you know, I had a good time with it. It's just, it is what you expect it to be. In number 6, and that's the movie I've saw most recent, and that is The Duke. This is a movie starring Jim Broadbent and Helen Mirren. This is about the true story of the Goya painting of the Duke of Wellington being missing, and it was actually taken by Kempton Bunton, who is played by Jim Broadbent. This is a really fun film, really well made. Unfortunately, the director passed away recently, so he doesn't get to see all this like respect that this film should have. It's a good film. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. I thought it was, you know, it was worth a watch. Not an immediate like day one pickup, not like something you need to see, but something I enjoyed. I really did enjoy it. You know, if it's a very political film about like the TV license and stuff, making it free for OAPs, etc. And yeah, I just enjoyed it. All round feel good film, put a smile on your face, and yeah. In number 5, and this is I think my biggest surprise of the month, this is The Dog, which is co-directed by Channing Tatum as well as starring Channing Tatum. Basically, the story of this is he has this assignment to have this dog, and he has to take it from one end of the country basically to the other, or 1,500 miles I think it is, to a funeral. Now this dog, Lulu, is really like aggressive. It's an ex like worker dog for like the army, and he has to like build this relationship with this dog to survive, I guess, to get across the country, because this dog is just chaos. I really enjoyed this film. I gave this, you know, a 7.5, so I think it's slightly better than Duke. You know, it's just a really funny film, really good. I enjoyed it. Channing Tatum, I thought, did really well in it as well. The dog wasn't animated; it was a real dog, which I appreciated that. I think, you know, I think I've compared this to the Call of the Wild movie, which starred Harrison Ford, obviously. But I preferred this to that. You know, it just had more realness to it, and I appreciated it. So yeah, I gave that a 7.5. In number 4, this is an 8 out of 10, and this stars Peter Dinklage. This is a film I actually saw 2 weeks early because it was on unlimited previews, and this is Cyrano. Cyrano is a musical which is basically like a love story. We actually saw this on Valentine's Day, so it's a bit soppy and stuff, but I had a real good time with it. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Really amazing costumes. Like I said, stars Peter Dinklage, and he is trying, he loves this girl, I think her name's Roxanne, and she has her eyes on somebody else, obviously, but he doesn't really speak very well in terms of like his love language, I guess. And Cyrano's got like a really you know, he's got a real talent for like poems and stuff. So with Cyrano's words and this other guy's like looks, create this like ideal guy for Roxanne. And it's really, you know, heart-wrenching really, because obviously Cyrano really loves her, but because of like who he is, she doesn't love him back. So it's a nice film, recommend it. Day one pickup, probably not, but you know, one that you could watch on streaming and stuff and, you know, have a good time with. So yeah. In number 3 is also an 8 out of 10, and this is Marry Me, another like romance movie, but this is really, really good. Very highly an 8 out of 10. It's borderline an 8.5, to be honest. I really enjoyed it. It stars Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson, and this was just a really fun movie. Really fun, really, you know, good comedy, good music as well. Jennifer Lopez does do some singing in it as well. And the basic premise is she is like this superstar, and she marries this random normal guy called Owen Wilson. You know, it's a ridiculous plot, but it just works. It feels like old school comedy that we don't get much of anymore, and I feel like it was really good. I cannot wait to watch this again. Will potentially be a day one pickup for me, borderline day one pickup, but really enjoyed it, and I would highly recommend anybody checks out Marry Me. I thoroughly loved this film. In number 2, we have Munich, The Edge of the War. This is a 9 out of 10. I very much enjoyed this film. It's a war film, really, really good, and it's not like the war film that you think of. There's no actual fight scenes, etc. It's more about the political side of, you know, stopping the war. We never get to see, you know, I guess the beginning of the war. If they're going to make a film about Hitler and stuff, it's always to do with the war. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. It's a Netflix film, as I say. I think it came out, you know, beginning of January here in the UK. So this is kind of a late one for me to watch, but very much enjoyed it. Very high quality, starring Jeremy Irons as well. I don't think it's going to, you know, get a physical release, but it may get a Criterion down the road, like things we've seen like The Irishman and Uncut Gems and all that. But yeah, it's one of them. I would recommend watching that on Netflix though. Munich, The Edge of War. And my favourite movie of the month, I gave a 9.5 out of 10. This is definitely going to be in my top movies of 2022 and will definitely be a day one pickup. This is Belfast. This is a movie directed by Kenneth Branagh, and this is his childhood growing up in Northern Ireland in Belfast, and it is phenomenal. It's so good. It's a black and white movie. Stars Jamie Dornan as playing his dad, as well as Judi Dench as his grandmother. And it's so good. I cannot wait to rewatch this movie again. I really want to get this in. I've even bought a case. In my Blu-ray hunting videos, I actually bought a movie that had a black case because I could just see images all online that it's going to be a blue case. And it's just got to have a black case because it's black and white. It's so good. Really, really up there. I loved it. I would highly recommend anyone checks out Belfast. For me, it's like the Oscar movie of the month. I really hope it does do really well in the Oscars. Just like I hope King Richard does as well. I think Will Smith deserves the Best Actor, but I think for me, Belfast I think is better than that. I haven't seen all the Best Picture films yet, but for me, I think Belfast is my favourite film out of that and King Richard. For me, it's just really, really good. 9.5 out of 10 I gave it. I definitely want to go and see it again. Maybe go and see it in the cinemas. If not, I will definitely be picking up day one. It's not even a question. It just will happen. So there it is. 10 movies saw this month. Like I said, not every month's going to be the same just because of releases and stuff. But let me know your thoughts on this down below, summarising all my reviews. And of course, for every single one of these movies, I have done a dedicated review for each one of those. So if you want to go and check those out, please go onto the channel and find those reviews. But there it is, guys. Thank you so much for watching my first top movies for 2022. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and also comment, as I say, down below. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.